Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. So long time no see. So without wasting much of our time, so I want to analyze. And some peers, so that I have here with me. So and the reason why I'm looking for entry on a particular point, I'm looking for exit at a particular point. So why we're going long here, why we're going short here. So everything I'm gonna explain. So starting from Nasdaq, as you can see Nasdaq. So the strategy I'll be using to supply element. But before we proceed, I would like to go to check on our news events. So economic calendar. Are we having any impact news? High impact news? If no, then what we are good to go for analysis. So our trade. So as you can see, today is Monday, so we have no high impact news, no news. Let me check for Tuesday. So Tuesday we will go a high impact news, which is PPI and CPI. Yeah, PPI USDT uh, for USD. So 2:30 p.m. So for today we actually don't have any high impact news. So let's proceed to the chart and analyze it out. So what we have. So as you can see, so I'll try to so I will try to be taking it back from a historical price. So the strategy I'll be using is the plan and execute approach, so which is known as supply and demand. So as we all know that supply and demand, so there's a major basis of the market. So the economy controls demand. So the demand in place where buyers are trying to what? To buy more. So aggressive buyers are coming to the market. So and supply where what aggressive sellers are entering the market. So people who are willing more are to offer more. So at the what? At the point supply zone. So and now, so what this tell us is, so if we look at the chart, we can't supply and demand. So for us to identify supply and demand of our chart, so we look at the point where the institution, the big banks, the financial, the corporation, government are entering the market. Those are the people that control the market. They have a lot of amount, thousands of flood, millions of flood to control the market. And no, we know in the first market it takes large amount of money to turn the market around, to turn the trend around, because the forex market is the most traded market in the world. So now this is major charts. So what are we looking? We're looking for our supply, we're looking for our demand. But I will be taking it back from historical prices. So for so so the first thing to check before to check trend change. As you can see, so the market has been coming from an uptrend. So we have an uptrend. So we have an uptrend. Market is trending up. As you can see, market has been trending up. So this is an uptrend. Market has been trending up. So then we break out of this trend into another trend, right? To another trend. So the first thing we have to look at is what is the trend change. So now the trend change, we have to look at the first consolidation. So at the trend change point where you can see outlier candles. Outlier candles are candle like this. So outlier candles are candle like this. So candle like this, these big candles. So the outliers candles. So this is small big candles. So big candles, big candles. So those are the outlier candles. So we can see the market. So as long as we have a trend change, so the trend change starts from here, because we have a consolidation, you can see a consolidation, right? So and a big move, boom, you can see. So before the big move, you can also see a consolidation. So the consolidation before the big move is our what as a supply zone. So as you can see, we have our supply zone from here down here, right? From here down here, a real consolidation, right? So So now what is going to happen? So we wait for the market to come back to touch the supply zone. So before we give an entry, and we said what previous high our stop losses, as our exit point. So as you can see, we have we have sorry, so we have our downtrend at least. As you can see, right? We have our downtrend. the market breakout. So if we go to 15-minute time frame, we can actually see that what there's another. So there's another supply zone here. So there's another what? Another demand zone. Sorry. So where the market are entering, when the buyers are entering the market, so demand zone. So the demand zone. So the market. So where the buyers are entering the market, you see right? So you can just so we can just take it from here. So the whole as our what? As our demand zone. So now it goes back to what? So you can see this is what a big trend. So we wait for the market to come back to touch point. But meanwhile, sometimes in the market, so the market might just come to move very close to the zone, then pull down or go in the opposite direction. The market might just touch it and move. Or the market might go down like 25%, 50%, 75% to the zone before trying to reverse. So before trying to reverse. So we go back to 1 hour time frame. So as you can see, so market really come back to this point. So that's why sometimes you just have to wait for the confirmation. So let me say, just have to put our entry what a peep. So I put the a peep below the so you put up a peep below. So we triggered. So we set our stop loss here. Then we target what the nearest zone, like nearest zone. So you can check if you can check. So it was it what a take profit. Why? You can see from here. This is Wednesday. So take 2 days for the market to what? For the market to reach this point here. So that is that. So that's one. So now we have another what? Uptrend. So that is another trend. So a trend change. So we are looking for a trend change like that. So uptrend. So this is a trend change. So we have a trend change. So after a trend change, we have a consolidation. So a consolidation. So free spots where the outlier candles is. So it's particularly around this place. So we set our what? Our supply zone. Our supply zone around this what? So around this point. So now after taking an entry here, we set one narrow zone as our target. As our as our target. Now, so we have another what? Another entry here. So another entry here, we're going for long position. So market touch. So we set our stop loss. So our take profits as a narrow zone. So narrow zone is here. So narrow zone is here. So we have a take profit. So as you can see, take profit, take profit. So meanwhile we already know that supply and demand so are the one that create support and resistance. So meanwhile, supply and demand is a very, very big move. So when the institution, the big bank are entering the market, so it may take some time for the market to reach our take profit. So we just have to set and forget. So another supply zone, so another entry. Now we have another down trend, another down trend. As you can see, another downtrend, right? So this is another downtrend. So another trend. So the market change. So Why? So the market change. So market change. Now, so we are looking for what? Another entry from this point here. Another entry from this point. Why? Thank you. So another entry from this point. So going for another short. So we haven't seen consolidation except this small consolidation. So then we set our take profit as a previous what? Previous high. So and as you can look, market really break out. Take profit hit. So now as you can see, this is a trend. So an uptrend, and that is it. So we have uptrend, which is from here. So uptrend, market breakout, consolidation, and a push down, boom, another downtrend. So what are we looking from this downtrend? So what we are looking is that we are looking for what? So we're actually looking for first consolidation. So at the point of outlier candles. So where we can spot outlier candles. So that is that. So and the position of outlier candles, another supply zone is this point here. So this point here. So so as you can see. So we'll be taking another entry here. So if this market is reversing, we look for another demand zone point this point, then we target our the nearest demand zone as our take profit, and we take another entry on the demand zone, target what? Nearest supply zone as our take profit. So the downtrend. So as you can see, there's our downtrend. So there's a lot of consolidation in this point. So in this trend, we have a big consolidation and a push down. So we don't know. Just have to wait for the market to come back to this point or nearest to this point. So that's why we have to place our what? Our sell limit. The P. And the P towards the zone. We set our take profit. So we don't know what's gonna happen. We set our take profit. So that is that about that. So you just have to clean everything. I just like the market to what? So my chart to be clean. So as you can see, that is it. So that's what I can see. Uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. So let's go to US 30. So as you can see, for good, so it's the same thing. For good, it's the same thing. As you can see, so we have a downtrend here, a downtrend from this point. So as you can see, we have a downtrend, we have a downtrend. So the market breakout, consolidate, consolidate. So consolidate. So market breakout, come back to retest. Meanwhile, these are consolidations. Come back to retest. So at the beginning of another trend, start from here. So the first touch here, as you can see, they might take this as a take profit, made another supply zone. So I'm taking this as what? As our take profit exit point. So because this is night demand zone. So this the price crosses the demand zone, so then we look for another demand zone, supply zone. So and that's is how it is. Meanwhile, the trend is changing, so we look for a point where that candles is. So before we take our trade, the supply zone, as you can see, a peep to what? A peep to the supply zone, the market reverses. So the market reverses. So we have downtrend consolidation, uptrend, and we have what? Another downtrend. So then we wait for our take profit. So we are still capitalizing. So with our take profit to this point. So we just have to be patient. That is it. Patient. These are our stop loss. So patience is very crucial. So and it's that about that. So because the GBSD, actually GBSD, so for GBSD, so what we have is that we have a downtrend. So these are outlier candles. So wait for the market or it come back to this point. So wait for confirmation. Wait for what? Confirmation. Wait for confirmation. You can see breakout retest, boom. Take profit here. Yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, deep, deep. So this way was a very drastic move. So it's a downtrend. So we have our what? Our supply zone here, our supply zone here. It depends on what. So for us to take an entry here, we have to look for confirmation because we're having two supply zones. So we wait for the price action confirmation before we go for entry. So that is that. So for the USG fuel, so to me, just wait for the market to come at this point, and just give it a shot. Right? Just really give it a shot. So, so I'm not surprised what the market to come at this point before we keep our entry. So for our entry, then the market we can see we look for another demand zone, take that as what other entry and another entry on the point. So there's no demand zone supply zone. So we keep looking for another demand supply zone. So yes, 30. So yes, 30. So yes, that is the same thing. Not actually the same. So we have a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. Oh. So the same for US30 is time for. So another supply is one. So if we take it in one hand, so let's see. So in a supply zone, we target the nearest what demand zone where the high is, or based on market structure, take profit. You know, right? So the market comes to this point. Let's say about that. So as you can see, it's 500 USD. So you can see USD card also. So USD card also. So supply zone, as you can see.